Owning 7 e-commerce brands sounds glamorous, doesn't it? It's not. Let me tell you, it's been a roller coaster of wins, losses, and invaluable lessons. And if you want to build a brand that thrives and not just survives, this video is for you. Today, I'm going to be breaking down the 3 most valuable lessons that I learned over the years scaling my brands. Let's get into it. Hey guys, my name is Jordan West and I am the CEO and founder here at Social Commerce Club. Over the years, I've owned a bunch of brands, and today I'm going to be breaking down why some of them were a success and why some of them were a failure. And really, at the end of the day, it comes down to these 3 things. Let's get into it. Number 1 is building a community. This has been my brand's secret weapon over the years. And I can tell you, between the brands that did incredibly well and the brands that did not, there was one thing that all of them had that survived and did well, survived and thrived. Those brands had communities. Now, let me tell you about where I found out about this. So I've had a podcast for years called Secrets to Scaling Your E-commerce Brand. And I would bring people on over the years and they would tell me what their secrets were. And somebody told me about this whole idea about Facebook groups. And this is way back in the day. When they told me about Facebook groups, I thought to myself, one of them told me, I've actually been selling out from my Facebook group. And I thought to myself, okay, they were selling out entire collections of baby clothes. And at the time, my wife and I had a baby clothing company. And I thought to myself, okay, well, we're going to try this. We're going to see what this is like. And so we started to build a community. And now the reason why a community is so valuable is because you get constant feedback, right? And as humans, what we need to understand is that feedback is a gift, right? And the feedback that we want, and we want feedback from our customers. We want this constant feedback. And so in our community, we just started asking questions. Now, this is a really cool thing. The way that we actually got them into the community was we were using this app years ago called Bonjoro. And what Bonjoro would do is it would actually send out personalized videos to them. Now, this is before AI. This would send out personalized videos to people, and they would come back to us with just incredible insights, right? We would ask them, we'd say, hey, we just wanted to ask you how you like the leggings. And then they would tell us. And it's incredible what happens to your product when you build a community. Community is not, let me tell you one thing community is not. It is not sending an email. It is not sending a text message. Your community is not your Instagram followers. A community has to be back and forth. People have to be able to talk to each other. That is a real community. A community is somewhere where if you are not involved and it is still thriving and there's messages going back and forth and they're in there talking about your brand, that is a brand community. Now, I recommend building these days. I would build a brand community on either School, because I love School, and I'll have a link to School down in the show notes. Number 2, I would build it on Facebook groups. But at the end of the day, I'd really build it where they are, right? That is the biggest lesson that I learned, is build a community where people are. I've got another video coming out in the next week or 2, all about how to build a community, and we'll make sure that that is linked as soon as that video is done. But building a community is one of the biggest lessons that I learned from owning 7 different brands. Let's get into the second one here, and that is doubling down on what works. So often as entrepreneurs, and I'm sure you guys watching this right now, think to yourself, wow, there's this incredible thing that's working here. Awesome. Now let's go find something else. I heard this great story years ago, this great anecdote about a miner up in Alaska. And they were up there and they were digging for gold, and they would dig for gold. And then as they found the gold, as soon as they hit gold, they would then go and dig another pile, right? Or they'd go and dig another hole. Sorry guys, if you're here and you see me tripping over my words, I am not polished. At the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take the learnings that I've had and from the mistakes that I've made and bring them to you. And sometimes I just need to get it out there. So I just wanted to let you guys know, sometimes I just try and get it out there. And that's what I'm doing with you guys today. So they would go over to this next hole, and then they'd hit gold. And then they'd go over to the next hole and they'd hit gold. Instead of just being where the gold was and doubling down on where the gold was. And I need to tell myself this same lesson every single day. Whether you're in a brand, right? Double down on what works. If you have a winning product, double down on that, right? There's 3 things that you can do when you're doing strategy. You can either do more, better, or new. Most people don't understand that all that you need to do is more of the same thing. And so if you're selling leggings, so back in the day, we sold baby leggings, and we were the most well-known baby legging company in Canada. Yes, I'm Canadian for those of you who are wondering. We knew how to sell baby leggings, but you know what we did? Instead, we went and sold other things, right? We went and sold bonnets and we went and sold sweaters, when in reality, we should have doubled down on leggings, right? And so doubling down on leggings might mean new colors of leggings. That's okay, right? But double down on the gold that you have. It's an incredibly important business lesson that will help you make so much money. So just continue to double down on the things that actually work, right? Use data and not emotions to make your decisions. When something works, don't just celebrate it, optimize it, iterate it, scale it. Just continually do more of that thing that brought you the gold in the first place. And so lots of times what you will need is you're going to need a mentor just to tell you, stop going after all of these other things that you think will work, right? And so here's one of the cool things and how all of this works together is that community will always work. And I would actually say that in 2025 and beyond, community will work even more than it has in the past. And it's because AI, there's going to be this whole idea of in real life over here and AI over here. And AI is going to do incredible things for us. But at the end of the day, people want human interaction. That is the most important thing that we can do, is have human interaction with each other. That's why I really believe that doubling down on community when it starts to work is going to be incredible for your brand. Because when Facebook goes down, when TikTok potentially gets banned, when Snapchat doesn't work, I can't believe I brought up Snapchat, when YouTube's algorithm isn't there for you, when ads are not hitting, when some email issue happens, you have your community, right? And your community will always be there for you and love your brand. They are your advocates. So remember, double down on what works. Number 3, let's talk about product right now. Your product can never be good enough. Focus on your product. This is one of the biggest lessons that I have learned. When I think about the brands that we purchased that did not do well, it was because of product, right? Your product can never be good enough, right? Customers' needs evolve and so should your product. Just because your product is good does not mean that it cannot get better. So constantly evolve your product. Better, right? When I think about one of our brands, and we'll go back to the baby brand, Little and Lively, we sold premium leggings, right? But we started getting feedback about the durability. And instead of just brushing it off, we thought we need to get better. We need a better system. We need a better product system. And so we continued to iterate on it and they became the favorite leggings. And it's funny because I'm actually wearing right now some of the material from that brand. And it's still the best material in the world. I've probably worn this shirt, I don't even know, 500 times. And it's like barely worn. And it's because it's such an incredible product. So ask your customers. Don't be afraid to ask your customers, what do you love? But also, what can we improve on? You know, what are we doing? What do you hate that we're doing? Use that feedback. That's going to be really difficult feedback, right? Now, remember, over the years in these 7 different brands that we owned, not every brand was a win. I'm going to give you a little bonus one here, and I'm going to talk about business partners. I have struggled. One of my mentors told me, he said, Jordan, you're an incredible founder, an incredible entrepreneur, but you pick really bad business partners. And I thought to myself, you are right. And so before you think about taking on a business partner, and especially an equity equal business partner, really think to yourself, why are we doing this, right? Are we at the same level? And do we have the same drive to get to that place? I would say that that is one of the biggest mistakes that I've made. And I don't know if you guys can tell that this one's really hitting close to home. But when I can think about some of the brands that we owned over time, and there was 2 specifically that I was with business partners that were not at the same level and did not have the same drive, nor did they have the same wherewithal to take a brand to the next level. I wish I would have gone in alone. And it's funny because earlier in my business career, my very first business that I ever owned was a restaurant. One of the lessons that I learned from it is that I always wanted that partner support. But actually, I think in the end, what I really want is an operator, not necessarily a partner. So if you're thinking right now about, man, maybe at some point I want to bring on a partner, think again, because it's not always going to be the answer that you need. So here's my biggest takeaways from today. And I really hope, let me know in the comments if this was helpful for you guys. I want to know what your takeaways are. Here's mine. Number 1, build a community. Number 2, just double down on whatever works and continue to double down until it doesn't work. One of my biggest regrets is not spending millions more on Facebook ads pre-iOS 14.5. If I would have known what I know now, I would have sold every single thing that I had and put it into that. So when you find something that works, maybe it's TikTok Shop for you, right? Maybe it's YouTube. Maybe it's still Facebook ads. Maybe it's your community. Maybe it's retail. Whatever it is, if it's working, double down on what works. Now, I just want to thank you guys so much for sticking around today, and I hope that this was helpful for you guys. If you're, again, if you're on YouTube, let me know what you think down in the comments, and I've got lots more content for you previously and more coming your way. Thanks, guys.